What's going on, everyone? Let's go for a drive and let's talk about Bitcoin. Today, I don't have a lot to say. It was just a thought that I had that I've actually been having this thought. It's kind of out there, so bear with me. But it has to do with this war with Iran that the U.S. is in and Bitcoin. Now, if you're paying attention, you already know that Iran was charging ships Bitcoin. Like, they were forcing them to pay in Bitcoin to gain passage through the Strait of Hormuz. That was really interesting. However, I don't think that's all that Bitcoin has to do with this story, because it's really interesting. Gosh, I don't want to bore you with, stuff that you may not be interested in. But part of me wonders if this war, maybe it's not completely about it, but maybe this war has a lot more to do with Bitcoin than anyone's willing to let on or even considering. Like, this sounds like kind of conspiratorial, right? But what a lot of people have been talking about in the economy space for the last couple of years is the deterioration of the US dollar. And some people have specifically said we need a new Bretton Woods agreement. And I'm not going to bore you. I'm just going to say that was what happened at the end of World War II, which resulted in the US dollar becoming the top dog of all money on the planet, the reserve asset of the planet. Okay, so people are saying we're going to need another Bretton Woods style event where there's a new asset class, or at the very least, there is no longer one single asset class that rules them all, but instead, it's just going to be, as far as currency is concerned, every man for himself. It's going to be the market decides sort of thing. Either way, you have the deterioration of the strength of the U.S. dollar, and some people, or you could look at it as like, oh, this is just like meant to happen, how it's going to happen, blah 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 blah. But then you could also look at it as, oh, this is totally planned. Oh, this is a 100% by design. And this war is making me think that not only is it by design for a continuation of the intentional decline of the US dollar's superiority, but it also makes me think that there are certain actors who are intentionally using it to strengthen Bitcoin, or more specifically, to put Bitcoin in the spotlight. Now, again, that's getting kind of conspiratorial, so I don't have a lot of evidence for all that, but I can't help but notice that this conflict is happening. The petrodollar system is getting messed with, which the idea with that is because the U.S. dollar is the reserve asset, then everybody buys gas in dollars. But this whole event has been challenging that, and so it's really been shaking up the strength of the U.S. dollar in the world, in the marketplace. Anyway, I don't want to run in circles, because like I said, I just had this quick thought of, what if, hear me out, what if this war, which, by the way, is going on for far too long, in everyone's opinion, and that is we went to this war for the same reason that we always go to war, not always, but for the same reason as many other times we've invaded the Middle East, which is to take away nuclear research and nuclear capacities. There's just a lot of fishiness to it, but then it has a lot to do, like, there's a lot of it that's really deeply affecting the economy. like deeply affecting the economy, not just in the sense of, oh, we can't afford to go to war, but we're going to war anyway, so we're increasing the deficit. We're just increasing our debt as a nation. Sure. But I don't know. It's kind of like a spidey sense sort of thing. So listen, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying anything set in stone in my head on this, but I can't help but wonder. I mean, remember, this is the orange president, right? He was supposed to be the Bitcoin president, and making America the Bitcoin capital of the world. I mean, or the Bitcoin and crypto capital of the world. I mean, let's keep it real as far as El Trumpo is concerned. So I don't know. I'm keeping my mind open. I'm keeping my eyes open. I obviously know that Iran is making it somewhat about Bitcoin. And wouldn't it be interesting? Just hear me out. Weird stuff happens in negotiations. Whether it's because the U.S. government secretly has a lot more control of Iran than we realize, that's the conspiracy side, or through negotiations during this war, they've said, hey, you know what, we won't completely obliterate you if you do these certain things for us to make this war last longer. And one of those things, they're like, hey, by the way, we need you to make this announcement of Bitcoin. Because if the U.S. government makes an announcement on Bitcoin, its price will explode. But Iran does it, and almost nothing happened. It's like nobody cares, even though it's being used for international settlement. I mean, that's a really big deal. I mean, I made a video about it because that's important. That's an important event in Bitcoin's history, in world history. And the market didn't notice, didn't flinch. These are interesting times, friends. These are very interesting times. And Bitcoin's down right now. And that is a buying opportunity. That is all I'm going to say. Like I said, not financial advice, because everybody's got to do their own math and talk to their own peeps. But I'm telling you, we don't have much time before it leaves this playground that it's on right now and goes for the big leagues. And it's not going to jump too fast, so don't get anxious about it. I'm learning this as we go, that I think Bitcoin has entered into the phase of slow but continual growth. That's what I'm feeling right now, is that... Sorry, it looks like I'm squinting. It's because I keep looking down. But I think that Bitcoin is going to grow, but it's going to keep growing. In fact, it's funny, the stuff that Michael Saylor has said about Bitcoin's growth, how he sees it growing on average 30% per year, but that it will be a diminishing percentage growth each year. It's interesting. It's interesting because I can kind of see that playing out. Although I think I like what Mark Moss points out is the S curve of technological adoption. I think that there's a good chance that we're going to have an Apple-style explosion first before we level out. But, I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible. So, why would you move forward without having any Bitcoin, right? Right? I mean, that's to me, that's kind of silly. Anyway, I don't want to ramble. I just wanted to say, man, let's keep an eye on this war. You don't need to be super concerned with it, but just keep an eye on it and see if any more Bitcoin stuff shows up. But really pay attention to what's happening to the dollar, because anything that happens severely to the dollar, it affects the prices of all assets, because they're all priced in the dollar right now. That's really important for us to pay attention to, and I really think that this might have more to do with Bitcoin than we might think. So, you know the drill. You need to get out there, and you need to go stack some sats. Go get some Bitcoin, because you need to do it right now.